Hi everyone, welcome back. This is Dina and today is Monday. It is the 13th of September. And today I decided that since I had already stitched on the letter that was called today, Dog Lessons for People, that I was going to take a little break and look at what I needed to stitch to help complete my acrostic for my 24 hours of cross stitch acrostic. So I looked on it today and I had two projects remaining. One was the R in silk threads, the R in the word threads, and I said my R was going to stand for a real situation such as a pandemic, and so I worked on pandemic today to meet that. My last remaining letter on this acrostic is L, and that is Long May She Wave. So I've got till the end of the month to get that one done, and it's on my ABCingo board as well, so I may just wait till it's called to get that one done. But today I picked up Pandemic, and I haven't shown you the full piece in quite a while. This is just my printed copy, my cover page, and I started mine in this corner right up here, top left corner. So I had a page finished the last time you saw it. So today I was to stitch at least 100 stitches on it, and then I realized I had another prompt that I could use this one for, and that prompt was that to stitch on a whip that just made you happy, and you had to explain why it made you happy. So this one makes me happy because blue is my favorite color, and this variegated blue, I am loving the way that it's turning out. So here it is. Here's my beginnings of page 2. I had done just the top borders the first time, but today I went in and did the diagonal down and back, and then I started working my way across that top of that next page. So 474 stitches in here, more than meets the 100 I needed for my ABCingo board, and it met that other prompt, and then it also of course met my acrostic, because you can set whatever goal you want for your acrostic, and I've been trying to stitch about 200 stitches on each one of my pieces in that acrostic if I wasn't using it for something else. So that's my pandemic. That's what I've worked on today, and I hope you like it. I'm hoping to have some time to stitch tomorrow. We'll see. I think it's finally picture hanging day here. We are having new gutters installed tomorrow, and so I don't think my husband can go anywhere to do anything, and he's been working some out in the yard. He trimmed another huge bush today and got it all nice and shaped up and got the top of it, nice and even. But he won't be able to do that tomorrow because they'll be working out in the yard, putting up new gutters. So I'm hoping that tomorrow will be the day that we get all the pictures hung, or at least some of them. So thanks for letting me share that with you, and continue to share our journey as we make this house our home. And I look forward to being able to show it to you once the pictures are up. I'll feel like it's more ready to be seen, and we'll go from there. But in the meantime, happy stitching, everybody. Hi everyone, welcome back. This is Tina, and it is September 14th. It is Tuesday, and I have been hanging pictures all day. Curtains, pictures, you name it. But we got curtains up in our master bedroom. We got pictures up in the master bedroom, and one in the hall. And we have identified where we're putting pictures in the living room, the dining room, and probably a couple more in the hallway. And maybe even our grandfather clock, which we haven't had up since before our son was born. It's been a long time. Anyway, it's been a busy day, and it's been a great day. I have had some errands to run and things like that, so I haven't even stitched yet today, and it's probably 9:30 or later, but this was what happened today that was wonderful. I got a call from my framer. Isn't she lovely? Now, this is what I was anticipating with my little sheep virtues. This is what I wanted. And the minute that I saw it today, I knew I had done the right thing. So I want to thank all of you for the encouragement to take it back and ask them to redo it. I told you I had a wonderful experience when I went. You know, the sales clerk that was not even working in the framing department was so fascinated by it and wanted to know how I had done it, and was just sort of taken with it quite a bit. But the lady in the framing department, the minute she saw it, as I mentioned before, she knew immediately what had happened and knew that it wasn't right. And so they made it completely right. And today when I went to pick it up, the young lady who waited on me had actually been the one to frame it. And she said, I tried really hard to get it as straight as I could because it's so pretty. And I think she did a really good job. And I'm real happy with it. Extremely happy with it. So I don't even care if it's not perfectly straight everywhere. I haven't even looked at it that closely to see. I'm just so pleased that now you can see everything. You can actually see the shape of the border. You know, yay. I'm very excited. Now I'm thrilled about this. I'm so much happier with it, and I can't wait to display it in my guest room. Once it becomes a guest room again and not my son's room. And I have, you know, my Afghan that I'm going to put in there in the guest room, laying across one of the guest chairs to go with it. I'll hang it close to the chair so that they'll be close together, and they'll be a pretty little set. So I'm happy about that. So I'm going to stop now. I'm taking a little break. My husband and I have hung enough pictures for the day. And I'm going to stitch a little bit just to wind down. So if I have enough progress tonight to come back and share with you, I will. And if not, it'll have to wait till another day. But happy stitching in the meantime, everybody. Hi everyone, welcome back. It is still September 14th. It's just a little bit late in the evening. A little after 11:30, but I wanted to come in tonight and just do a little bit of stitching just to relax because we worked so hard today, and I decided that I would look at my 24 hours of cross stitch acrostic. I had one letter left to finish the word I was working on, or the phrase, and the question was what kind of fibers do you like to stitch with? And you had a choice between cotton fibers and silk threads. And I actually sat down and tried to put my whips that I had in both columns to see which one I could do the easiest, because I use both, and it actually turned out that I had more projects that would fit easier the silk threads. So the L in silk stood for me for this month for Long May She Wave, and that was the last thing I needed to do for this acrostic. So I picked up Long May She Wave, and then I had finished about to right here, and so it was time to, I had this little limb out here done, this branch. so I could start this motif. And so I stitched that little present motif, and it was 144 stitches. And here it is on my banding. There you can see it. So that definitely met the prompt, and I'm excited to have been able to just put in a few stitches tonight. It's time now for me to say goodnight and head on to bed. So Coco's already gone, and you know, I'm gonna go down there and make her move over. Anyway, I hope you guys are having a great time stitching, and I hope to get a little time to stitch later on this week. So hopefully I'll have something else to share with you pretty soon. Enjoy your stitching, everybody. Good night. Hi everyone, welcome back. My name is Dina, and today is Saturday. It's the 18th of September, and I'm here to give you a little brief stitching update. Well, I am working on my ABCingo board this weekend because I have some catching up to do. I had a crazy busy week. We made some real tough decisions about our big fundraiser, which I'll share with you briefly later. But I also hosted my very first dinner in my new home and invited the couples that had helped us so much as we were moving in. Different ladies had come over and helped me unpack different parts of my house. 2 ladies helped me set up my kitchen. Another lady helped me set up my china and all the stuff in my hutch in my dining room and my pantry. And then a third of my friends came over and helped me set up my craft room. This was something they wanted to do, and I was floored. I've never had people offer to do those kinds of things for me before. I've always had to do it by myself, and having someone to do it with was just fabulous. It was a lot of fun. But I wanted to do a thank you. So I wanted to cook dinner for these couples. We're all vaccinated. We've all been in each other's bubble the whole time. We're like family. And so I had them over last night for dinner. And I had some prep to do, last week. And we were frantically trying to hang pictures. And so we got the house ready, and dinner was ready, and it went great. So that was a success. But it took a toll on my stitching time. So today I decided I was going to try to catch up on my ABCingo card, and I'm halfway there. So let me share with you what I did. On September 11th, the letter C was called, and for me, my letter C was Crabapple tree. And on September the 17th, the letter T was called, and that was, for me, was tree in Crabapple tree. So I had put 2 spaces on my board for Crabapple tree, and they've both been called, and I hadn't had a chance to pull it out and stitch on it. So today I did, and I stitched 127 stitches for one, and stopped and took a picture of it for another prompt, and then I continued stitching on it for another 141. So I have a total of 268 stitches in this today. So I've got enough to say that I've met the requirement for both of my spaces on my board, since they're 100 stitches a piece. So this is, I'll remind you, this is Crabapple tree. This pattern was gifted to me by my dear friend Marissa. Thank you again, Marissa. I'm enjoying this so much. And I am working on the summer season, and I'm stitching this on this gorgeous hand-dyed Swigert linen that Marissa dyed herself to mimic this, and I think you'll see she did a great job. But I want to show you what I did on the pattern, because I think it's easier to see it here when you can see it in relation to everything else. I had completed this block down through this little grouping of flowers in the border. So when I started on it today, I did this little border here. I had done SUMM before because I was coming across with this border, and I just came on down. So today I finished out the E and the R, and then I did the border on the other side of the word summer. So I finished up this little center section right here, and that's where I got my 268 stitches total today. So let me show you what it looks like on my fabric, and I'll try to fold it a little bit so you can see it and it doesn't go right through it, but I want you to get to see all what I've done. There we go. So I haven't quite gone all the way over. That is the end of the page on my pattern. So I stopped there, but I've come down now to the center, and I've gotten those 2 borders on either side of the word summer completed. So the next thing in the middle is continuing the white border here all the way across, and then I have to finish this border and go down, and then I can start on the tree itself. But really tickled with the progress that I made today, especially in the fact that I got 2 of my cold squares caught up. So how am I doing on ABCingo? Well, let me share that with you. Right now, I'm 2 squares behind. I have not stitched on my square that was called on the 8th, and I haven't stitched on my project that's in the square that was called on the 14th. So on the 8th was Nativity, and on the 14th was to do the letter U in the Autumn Bell pull, which is a new letter to start on, and I hadn't counted it down and started it. So it kind of put me off a little bit till I had time, you know, to really sit and think about it. So my goal for today is to pick up my project on these 2, hopefully both today. I'm very ambitious, we'll see. My son's working an extra shift. He volunteered to work an extra shift today, so he's working a 12-hour shift till 7 tonight. So I don't have anybody here I need to check on or do anything for. My husband is cutting the grass and doing some yard work, so I have some time to myself. Anyway, Coco's napping right over there. So I'm gonna pull out my Autumn Bell pull next and go ahead while I'm fresh and still real alert and, you know, feeling good. And I'll count down and get that letter U started, get 100 stitches in it. And then if I can, I'm gonna pull out Nativity and get 100 stitches in it. So I am caught up on my board. And let me show you the magic that will happen if I can do that. Here are the 2 spots that I need to stitch on today to catch up. Yeah, I'll have a bingo. If I can just catch up, I'll have a bingo. Now, the other thing I want to show you too is I have been stitching all along, just not on what was being called. For instance, this one at the top here is Hello Winter, and I originally started it, I stitched 688 stitches, and then yesterday I pulled it out again to start working on it for another prompt, and I got 143 stitches in it before I had to stop, and I haven't finished the prompt. So I've got it sitting out over there to go back to finish a prompt, but I've stitched another 143 stitches on it since then. So that's another, you know, qualifying time that I've stitched on that square. So whatever that one's called, I'm using it as a V for a very large flower on Hello Winter. But I've got it outlined, if you can see, in orange, because that means I've stitched it. So when it's called, I just turn it blue. Here is my P, which is Pandemic. It has not been called yet, but I've stitched it. And I stitched 474 stitches on it when I did. So all I have to do is color that one blue when it's called, if I don't have time to stitch on it that day. And then my Field Mouse Hollow, well, you know, I finished that. I stitched 527 stitches on it the day I stitched it to finish it. And I've colored in the square where it was called. And so now when they call this letter, which is F for Field Mouse, I'll be able to color that blue. So over here on this column, that's a black horse for B, and that's my Sleepy Hollow. And I stitched Sleepy Hollow already this month, and I stitched 324 stitches when I did. So That one I can turn blue because that's enough for 2 of the squares. I probably would stitch on it again because I'm trying to push that one to a finish. So then what's left? Well, the W for me is Wentzler, for Teresa Wentzler, and that's my mermaid. I haven't touched it, but it hasn't been called. And the letter I have for infant in Nativity. So when I work on Nativity today, if I want to do 200 stitches, I could actually get this one covered as well. Just depends on how much time I have when I get ready to work on it. But if you're looking very closely, you'll find that there are only there are only 3 of my whips on here that I haven't stitched on. Whether they've been called or not, there's only 3 left for me to stitch on, and I could get a blackout. I'm just waiting on the letters to be called. So I'm not doing too bad now that I've caught up a little bit today. And if I can do those other 2 today, I'll have a bingo finally, which will be fun. This has been great fun. I've enjoyed it a lot. And so I'm going to let you get back to stitching in just a minute, and then I'm gonna go and get my autumn bell pull and see if I can't get it done today. Hopefully I get to come back today and show you that I did. So real quick update is that our COVID numbers here in my local area in Hall County where I live are still on the rise. They have not peaked yet. Our prediction from our healthcare facility now is that our numbers will surpass the first peak. We may have more cases in the hospital this time at peak than we did the first time, and that's not a good thing, because this Delta variant is very serious and more patients are dying from it than before, from the first strain of COVID, and that's not good news. It's not what we want to hear. Anyway, so our leadership team for our event got together. We had received a request to consider canceling it from one of the staff members at our church, and she works very closely with some healthcare providers in some of the projects that she works on for the church, and she felt like, or was actually hearing from them, that if we didn't cancel our event, they would kind of feel like we were at risk of becoming a super event, because they were afraid we'd have too many people in the building at a time and that sort of thing. So we considered it, and even though we had marketed it heavily, we had sold a bunch of tickets to come, we had radio spots and newspaper articles and just everything you can imagine to get the word out to come to support our fundraising for our charity this year, and we had to seriously think, could we even undo it all? We've done the best we can to undo it. We did make the decision to cancel the event in its entirety. We are going to host a very small portion of the event. We call it the bake shop, and ladies in our church make from scratch cakes and pies and muffins and things like that, and other people in the church who are not good at baking love to buy them and put them in the freezer for holidays. So last year, when COVID was at its height before, we had just the bakery, and it did very well for our beneficiary last year. So we're going to do that again this year. It's coming up on the 24th of this month. We are going to limit it to 1 day. We are going to require masks, and we are going to limit the number of people in the room at a time. And the bakery is going to be spread throughout our entire banquet hall. So you will probably be 20 to 25 feet apart at whatever table you're at for the next person. And we're going to ask people to have only one person at a table at a time. We don't get a large number of people at one time. They trickle in all day, and so that works out really well for us. It'll make for a long day, but we're hoping that we'll make some money for our beneficiary. So send us your warm wishes on that. We've worked so hard this year. My co-chair did the marketing this year, and she gave up her whole summer, and she's just heartbroken that we're not going forward. I think she's more upset than anyone else because of all the work and hours that she put into that. And she got very close with our beneficiary, and I think she feels that we're not going to have as good a shot, to give them as good a contribution. But you know what? We're going to do the best we can, and I think it'll meet their needs, and I'm going to trust that anyway. And we're going to go forward with our bake shop and make it a big success. But that means this coming week, yours truly will be very busy. So we have an entire banquet hall to decorate, tables to set up and decorate. We have people dropping off their baked goods starting on Thursday. And so we start decorating on Tuesday. We do the bulk of it on Wednesday. We start receiving people's donations on Thursday and set everything in the coolers and everything ready to go for Friday morning. And my co-chair and I have divided up the days, and we're both going to go to help them kick it off on Tuesday and help them get set up. And then I'm going to go all day Wednesday and help, and she's going to go on Thursday and help, and then we'll both be there Friday all day. So that way, at least each of us gets 1 week off during the week before the event. So anyway, that's just a big thing in my life. I've enjoyed doing it. I've been a co-chair for that event. This will be the 3rd year in a row. And I think next year we may either do something different or we may revamp it a little bit. And I've already made the decision that I'll take a year off and let someone else enjoy being creative, and I'll help as a helper, but I'm going to let someone else take the reins for it for a little while. I think you get fresh blood and fresh ideas and things when you do that, and I'll get a break, which will be great. Anyway, I've been talking way too much. It's time to get back to stitching, and I hope to see you later this evening. Happy stitching, everybody. Hi, everyone. Welcome back. I am here to let you know how I'm progressing on my efforts to finish catching up on my ABCingo board, and I am very happy to let you know that I have caught up on one of my squares. This was U, and the U was because I needed to start my U in the autumn bell pull, and I only had to get 100 stitches in it. But I actually stitched 142 because I wanted to stitch to the end of my thread. And here's my progress. I got my U started, and the good news is I made it to the center of the design of the U. So I made it to the middle of what the U is gonna, how far down it's gonna go, which is great. I wasn't expecting to get that far. So got started on that next letter, which was a lot easier than I thought. I looked at the pattern and it said to leave 6 threads in between the designs when stitching as a banner, and so that's 3 spaces when you're doing 2 over 2. Easy peasy. Just counted 3 down from the bottom. The hardest part was lining it up on the side because this sticks out further than that. So I had to unroll it a little bit, follow the thread down, and find it. So when I finish this letter, I very well may go ahead and run a thread, like just a basting thread, down to the start of the next one, so I'll know where the edge is. But anyway, got it done. I'm excited to have it done, and I am 100 stitches away from bingo. I'm determined to try to get it today, so hopefully I'll be back again. Happy stitching. Hi everyone, welcome back. Today is Sunday. It is the 19th of September, and I'm here to give you a bit of an update on what I've been doing. I have been working on my ABCingo, trying to catch it up, and I think in just my prior segment I mentioned that I needed to stitch on the Nativity. This is my Nativity by Teresa Wentzler, and I had decided to stitch on his cloak, and try to work my way down the angel and get the two people all stitched that are touching him before I try to wrap his wings around everything. So knowing that I had a letter that had already been called, which was X, and for me that was Xmas, and Xmas was my nativity. And then I have another letter that hasn't been called yet, which is I, and my I stands for infant in nativity. So I went ahead and stitched 200 and something stitches, 203 actually, just so I would have enough to get both blocks. And I've just made a little square around my eye to let me know if I don't get a chance to stitch it the day it's called, I'm okay, because I've already stitched it kind of in advance. But let me show you what 203 stitches looks like on my nativity. I had the blue robe done and one color of the shading done on a few of the stripes there for the folds in his cloak. So I have color completed another 2 or 3 colors in there, working down to what will be his waist. He has a sash tied around here that'll go a whole different color scheme. And believe it or not, this little indention right here is actually where Joseph's head will go. So I have made it all the way down to the next person. Isn't that exciting? So that was really fun, and I'll incorporate that maybe next time. But there you have it. I've gotten started really well on the nativity. I'm really pleased with that progress. So I want to show you my ABCingo board now that I've colored everything in with my blue pencil. I have 2 bingos. My nativity right here created a bingo here, and then the P in pandemic created the bingo here. So I actually have already stitched 688 stitches in the Hello Winter when I started it. And since then I have stitched over 100 stitches more, just because I picked it up the other day when I had a very short period of time, and I stitched the bird on top of the sheep. I haven't shown you that yet because it's not enough, and I haven't finished it. I'm gonna stitch on it some more. Bill Mal's Hollow for F has not been called yet, but as you know, I finished the piece, and I actually stitched 527 stitches. I'll write it in the block. So that's well more than the 200 I need for the 2 blocks that I had on here. The 1 block's been called already, so it's colored in, but this one is yet to be called. But where you see numbers written, that's how many stitches I stitched on the day I stitched it. So the requirement of that block has already been met. I'm just waiting for it to be called. So what I have left to work on now is mermaid. I have 2 blocks for mermaid, and they are the letter M for mermaid, and then for W for Wentzler, for Teresa Wentzler, the designer. Those are the only 2 I need to stitch. And then all I'm doing is waiting for everything to be called, and I'll have my blackout. I'll be so excited. So that's how my board is going. I'm pretty excited about that, I must tell you. Also have completed my 24 hours of cross stitch acrostic. I have stitched every requirement that I put on the list. Here's how I kept up with it. And so I have already completed this acrostic, and I have written out my acrostic for October already. Sorry to give you such a close-up. For October, in 24 hours of cross stitch, the acrostic says, how do you decide what project to work on? Are you working through a rotation, or do you stitch whatever your mood calls for? Can't commit to just one way? Just try to complete 12 letters from either side. So one side says rotation based, and the other side says stitch by moods. I have actually completed a listing for both of these, but when I looked at them, I decided that I had more variety of what I really wanted to be stitching on when I did rotation based. And When I'm not stitching for a prompt, then I do stitch on a rotation. I make sure that I rotate through all of my pieces. And one of the ways I ensure that is this acrostic right here, because I try to only use each thing one time for the letters, even though I tried it this time. I was going to see if I could put Sleepy Hollow on every single letter and just work on it the whole month of October and see if I could get it finished. But I couldn't without stretching terribly, terribly far. I really couldn't do it more than about 4 or 5, and I decided, well, if I'm not going to spend the whole month working on it, I would rather stitch on a multiple variety of things and not be single focused part of the month and then feel like I had to swap off and do other things. So I have it ready to go October 1, so well ahead. Very excited about that. So that's my stitching. I have gone through my magazines, and I have a new magazine start that I will be working on for my smalls exchange for our stitching group. We decided that we are going to swap a Christmas ornament. I won't show it here because some of my stitching group fellow stitchers there are floss tubers, and we watch each other's channel, and I don't want to ruin the surprise and show you what I'm working on. So I'll film it when I finish it, and I'll keep it for after our exchange in December, and I'll let you see it. And then I have also found a pattern in another magazine, and it is for a Christmas present for my sister. And I've been looking for it, and I finally found what I wanted, and I'm going to stitch that up for her. So I'm not going to show that right now either. I'm going to wait until after it's gifted, or at least put it at the end of a video when I finish stitching it, so I can ask her to go ahead and turn off the video. But been busy planning and doing that sort of stuff. So that's been fun. I've enjoyed it. And now today I am working on some prompts in one of the Facebook groups, and it's called Gratitude. And so I have 5 prompts to stitch. One was to say what you're grateful for. Well, all of 5 of them are something that you're grateful for. And so I am tickled to death to be able to do that, and I will show them as they go, except for a couple of them are gifts for people who watch my channel, so I won't show those until after they're gifted. But one of the things I'm grateful for is my son, and I'm going to stitch on Sleepy Hollow for that prompt. And then one is my sister, and I've got a gift I'm working on, as I mentioned, for her. And then one is my friend Glow, and we started Queen of the Needle together, and so I want to put some stitches in that because I'm grateful for her friendship. Another is my friend Marissa, and I'm grateful that she gifted me the crabapple tree, and so I've already stitched on the crabapple tree. I showed it to you. And then my faith, I'm grateful for my faith, and I had put Nativity to represent my faith. And so I was able to count the 203 stitches that I did for my ABCingo board also for that prompt. So I've met 2 of the 5 prompts of what I'm grateful for. So I'm going to work on those today and see if I can get at least one more of those knocked out. I have until October 1st to complete them. So that's only fitting since I have only one more piece to work on to do a blackout on my ABCingo board. It seems that it would be okay for me to take a break and work on these prompts for a couple of days. So I'll be happy about that. Well, I'm going to let you get back to stitching, and I hope that you're having as wonderful a time with your stitching as I'm having with mine. Happy stitching, everybody. Hi, welcome back. This is Dina. I am here on Sunday evening to give you an update on my stitching. I have been working on a prompt, and my prompt is for a gratitude prompt to tell what you're grateful for, and you stitch on a project that reminds you of that. And today I was stitching on a prompt for my sister. So Stephanie, look away. I don't want you to see this one. I'll let you know when you can look back. This is the one I'm doing for her, and I was able to do 235 stitches on this tonight, and I finished this section here. Isn't that great? Met my prompt, finished that part up, and now I can start on a new section the next time I start working on it. So I'm really looking forward to that. Really happy to get that done. Okay, Stephanie, you can look back. So in that same challenge, I have one prompt left to do, and it's the one where I'm grateful for my son, and I'm doing Sleepy Hollow for that. So I will be working on that tomorrow. And the reason I will be working on that tomorrow is that the letter for tomorrow is V on our ABCingo board, and my V stands for a very large flower in Hello Winter. And I've already stitched 788 stitches on that because I did 688 and then I did another 100 for another prompt this week. So I've done way more than enough to color that one in. And look what happens when I do. I have another bingo. I had two already, and this was one where my V was the only thing open. So I have another bingo, which is great. I'm really happy that it was one I had already worked on because I really am excited about getting to work on my Sleepy Hollow all day tomorrow. I would love to get some progress made on it. So that's exciting. Anyway, that's my day. I'm going to close it off for today. I'm going to call it an evening and go play with Coco, and I will see you guys tomorrow, hopefully. Until then, happy stitching, everybody. Good night. Hi, everyone. Welcome back. This is Dina. Today is Monday. It's the 20th of September, and I have some news to share with you. It's not happy news. I got my fabric of the month today, and I'm in the Color and Cotton Fabric of the Month Club, and I'm in the neutrals, and it's beautiful, and I've loved every one of them, and I look forward to it every month. But today, this is what my package looked like when it got here. And when I opened it, I pulled the fabric out. This is what the fabric was packed in inside the padded envelope, and this is what that looked like. It's been torn and ripped. And this is what the fabric looks like. Grease there, there, and there's even some down here. It's hard to see. I've got it backwards for you. You can really tell it there. But it was folded, and so every one of the 4 layers got it. And this one was actually torn. You can see the hole right there. It obviously got caught in some sort of mail processing equipment, I do believe. But I'm gonna have to cut this way down to use it. I've contacted Color and Cotton just via email and sent them pictures to let them know about it. I was just asking if they had another one of these colors available that I could hopefully purchase if I can get the post office to pay me for this. But because I'm gonna have to cut it down so small to use it, it won't be, nearly as fun as if I could have put something big on it. but it is not Color and Cotton's fault. I want to be sure y'all hear that loud and clear. She had it packaged in a Ziploc bag inside a padded envelope. So she was protecting it as best she could. So anyway, it's unfortunate, isn't it? It's kind of sad. Oh well, that's life. That happens. Anyway, I have been working today on a final prompt in a Facebook group called Gratitude Week, and I was stitching on a project of mine to illustrate that I was grateful for my son, and that was my Sleepy Hollow. So I want to share with you just the little bit I got done today. I wound up getting 253 stitches in. The prompt required 200. And you know me, I just went ahead until I finished off a thread. So let me share with you what I did today. You'll notice something new here. I actually did to the bottom and turned the corner. And so now I can come up here and do the border all the way across and come down and do the border all the way across, which will get me some quick, easy stitches when I need them. But so I have this motif to replicate over here, and then I'll just have this bottom border. Then I came up here because I had black on my needle. I had done all the little faces in these four, and I came up here and I worked on the horse's leg. So I've brought that down just a little bit. I'm going to continue working on this until I get my letter for tomorrow. Then I can, work on my ABCingo board. But in the meantime, I'm going to be working on this tonight, trying to get a little more of it stitched. I'm excited about getting closer and closer to the bottom. If I can get all of the horse and tail and the border done, then all I have left is back stitching and that beautiful glow-in-the-dark moon. So I'm excited about that. But I'm going to let you get back to what you're doing and enjoy your stitching, and I'll go and cry over my fabric and then I'll get back to stitching. Anyway, I hope you have a good evening, and I will talk to you soon. Happy stitching. Hello everyone, welcome back. It is the 21st of September, and I'm going to make this the last little segment for this video so I can go ahead and get it up. Doing all of these challenges with the September ABCingo has created a lot of whips to be worked on. And so I have a lot of clips, and the last time that I put up a video, it was quite a long one. So I'm going to try to cut this off a little bit sooner so it won't be quite as long. But as I mentioned in my prior segment, I was going to be working on Sleepy Hollow for my gratitude for my son. That was the prompt I was working on, and I did, and I went ahead and put in another 401 stitches in this since I last showed it to you. So here's what it looks like now. Oh, the horse has a leg. I'm very excited about that. I went back up here and picked up where I had been working on the leg and got all of the black done there on this leg. I got all of the shading done, got his hoof and everything. So this leg is complete. And now here's the beginning of the back leg coming down here. So I have that and his tail to do. Finish the border of cross stitching. And then I have back stitching from about right here down all the way around. And then I start on that moon. Anyway, I'm pretty excited about that, and I wanted to share my progress with you. The good news is what little bit of time I get to stitch today, I'm going to spend on this again, because my letter that was called in the ABCingo is W for Teresa Wentzler, and that is my mermaid piece. And I want to wait and work on it when I have a little more time. I have until the end of the month to finish it. the 200 stitches that are required for my 2 spots. And I want time to get all of that done at once, because once you get all those blends and things in your mind and you get the pattern, you know, back in your head, you want to make enough stitches that it makes it worth your time, you know, working on that. So I'm going to wait, probably, I may wait all the way to the end after the Emporium, because that's this Friday. Today is Tuesday. And today I already have a couple of errands I need to do to help them get set up. And so I definitely want to get that done. So I may wait a little bit to do that one. And you may get to see this one a little bit more, which is okay. I also have some wonderful news to share with you. I had emailed my Angela at Color and Cotton, just to let her know what happened. I showed you my fabric that arrived in a very damaged state, and my question to her was, did she have any more of this color that I could purchase, because I wanted the color. It was beautiful. And I was going to file a claim at the post office, and Angela immediately answered me. I had an answer from her right after I finished filming that little segment where I told you about it. And she basically said that they don't take out insurance on their fabric. They just replace it if anything ever happens. And she was familiar. This had happened once before, at least, because she said on occasion those bubble wrap things will get caught in the machinery. And she said we just replace it. So bless her, she is going to replace that piece of fabric for me. She even went so far as to say that if she didn't have any of that color left in my 32 count Lugana choice, that she would dye me a piece. Now, people, that is great customer service. I was thrilled. Angela, thank you. I don't know that you watch my channel, but I will publicly let everybody know how well you took care of me, and I appreciate it. Quick response. Just lovely person. And so she also told me to please keep that fabric and cut it down if I could salvage it and use it for anything, which I thought was absolutely gracious of her, since she's going to replace it. So I just wanted to share that with you, because I know there's a wait list for their fabric of the month, but it would be worth it to you to put your name on it, because I was on the wait list at one time and I got in. So it took about a year, but I got there, and now I'm going to have to see if I can't get on the wait list for those fibers of hers. Anyway, thanks for letting me come and wrap up for the week, and I'm going to go ahead and try to upload this today if I can, because the rest of this week's going to be pretty busy with our Emporium. So I will keep you updated as I can, and in the meantime, as always, happy stitching.
He likes the carpet.
Coco watching the cuckoo clock. You feeling?
Yep.